And we'll definitely do something like this soon, but...
Do you know what? If all of this night has been wasted, I won't think it's wasted because I love this, I love you.
It was fucking great to talk to you anyway, mate.
Bye.
Bye, you fucking cunt. Ubisoft is the next one because I put my... Yes, because I put my papers in the wrong order. So your sitar will have to wait another 30 minutes.
Do you know what we should do is just edit all this out. Snip, snip, snip,
so
snip.
Ubisoft is next.
Snip, 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 snip.
So Ubisoft is next. And a show of rabbits with Mario.
Now, this is the first thing that really registered seismic waves on my Twitter feed. And at first, it seemed like the most insane idea of all time. And then the more you looked at it, the more it seemed like it was as good as it was insane.
I must admit, when I first saw the teasers or the leaked images, I was like, what the fuck is even?
Are you talking about like sort of last week where stuff came out where I was like, wait, Mario and the Rabbids are together? I was like, oh no.
Yeah. So I was like, is this for real?
Yeah, and it was worrying. It was like, why would they ever marry these two concepts? But then
they showed the presentation, and despite two people speaking mangled English on stage, a Japanese person and a French person, or Canadian French, I suppose.
Yep.
I didn't understand half a word between them. The gameplay seemed like it was XCOM-ish.
Yes.
And I must admit, alongside the fact that most of the enemies were rabbits, I kind of liked it.
No.
Now what you've got to do yourself is you've got to put yourself in the position of someone who loves Mario and XCOM, never played a Rabbids game, and has been led to believe that Rabbids games generally are terrible, right? Yeah. And then, correct. And then you go on Twitter, you go on your Twitter, and you go, oh, they've made a Mario and Rabbids game. And I'm going, okay, that seems insane, but alright. And then everybody on Twitter's going, the gameplay seems a bit like XCOM. And I'm like, they've made an XCOM Mario Rabbids game. And then you look at the screenshots, and there's a Rabbid Kong. And you're going, well, this looks fucking incredible then. This is the best thing that I've ever fucking seen. Like I don't care who you are, where you're from, what you do.
As long as you love me.
But but if you don't have time in your life to at least explore that game, there's something inherently wrong with it. Like be, by all means, be tribal and be like, oh no, they're ruining certain franchises. But if someone just serves that recipe up to you and you don't at least want to have a look, something is inherently wrong. Something has gone wrong somewhere deep in your heart. But no, this was the first thing of E3 that I looked at and went, I've made a huge mistake not watching all of this. because the second I saw that, and to be fair, the Mario Rabbids thing didn't have a great deal of press. It only really made the headlines, especially on Twitter, once it had been on stage. Like there was no news around it. There was no.
Despite the fact that everybody already knew it might have been a thing.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, and that was the first thing that I saw. I was like, well, if this can happen, anything can happen. Because let's be honest, the Mario Rabbids mashup was the last thing that anybody expected.
And here's the thing. I don't hate the rabbits as a concept because they were thought of as an enemy to Rayman. So it's just that they got so popular that they took his franchise away from him.
No, agree. Like, I reached the point where, like, because I loved Rayman. It was good. Like, Rayman being a thing was very much my childhood. And I remember when the Rabbids became a thing, I remember being in my early to mid-teens and being a bit confused. As being like, is this the same Rayman? Because the Rabbids seemed at odds with the... Because Rayman, for me, when I was a little kid, Rayman was sort of self-aware platform hero, kind of like he was cool, but he was cool in a 90s way. But he also knew that, like he almost seemed to know that his shelf life was limited. He was like, yeah, big pair of sunglasses on. And then when the Rabbids came out, mid 2000s, it was like, well, no, these seem entirely. Apparently, the Rabbids games are quite good.
I've never played them, but I haven't heard bad things about them. But it seems like they mostly make people annoyed with them. And I think by the fact that they were meant to be enemies, it doesn't matter that you find them annoying because you want to waste them.
Yes.
So the biggest crime I think they have done is just have them take over Rayman universe. So Rayman should have just had the Rabbids as his main enemies from now on and just fight Rabbids all day and have them go, ah! And he punches them in the face and they stop screaming. Because if they stop screaming, it's okay. And that's exactly what this is with Mario now. It's like big hulking rabbits. They're screaming, so you shoot them with lasers or bullet bills.
Again, let's get away from Mario because... Oh, Mario.
So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to Mario Raving Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, they gave me this insane mashup of two things that should never have been. Really, let's be honest. They should never be. They are an abomination. And then they went, also, XCOM, the game that least plays into their strengths. Here that is. And I was like, well, I love them and that and XCOM. So yes, thanks.
Plus the trailer had music that used like. If you replaced it with AC/DC's Thunderstruck, it wouldn't have made much of a difference.
I need to look that up then.
No, it's quite literally the same kind of music.
Brilliant. Okay. Okay, alright.
So they show Assassin's Creed next, and they show it outside on a computer monitor in the sun, and we don't see a thing on screen.
What?
So we see Assassin's Creed on a computer monitor being played outside.
So Ubi beamed the demo onto a screen in real life outside.
Somebody was playing the game outside on a terrace on a wooden table in the middle of the fucking sun, and we couldn't see a thing that was going on. And I don't know why the fuck they were doing that.
Has there been a company line? Has anybody asked why they did that? And has there been a company line why they did that?
Nope. If they'd done it on a Switch, I would be understanding like, oh, hey, this is cool. Look, they're trying to show off the Nintendo Switch being portable outside. But this was just a regular computer. Or an Xbox, I think.
This is problematic of the reasons why... Sorry, not problematic. Emblematic of the reasons why I've never played an Assassin's Creed game.
So I didn't really fucking get why they were doing that. So let's skip the rest of that because, yeah. They showed The Crew 2, and I've never heard of The Crew 1.
I heard of The Crew 1, and I heard The Crew 2 looked pretty fucking good, actually.
It looked pretty fucking boss. That's what it fucking looked like. You can race with... It's like Diddy Kong Racing, but for adults.
See, The Crew 1, right? The Crew 1, in my mind, will always be the game where... You know when Ubi had this image of every game has to have towers in, yeah? You got to have towers, right? You go and you find the tower, and you unlock the tower, and that unlocks the next level of the map, right? You remember that? Remember that whole shitstorm, yeah? Yeah? I remember Jim Sterling joked that when The Crew came out, they would have towers that you drove up. Right? And then when The Crew came out, guess what happened?
Towers.
Yeah, that you drove up. And Jim Sterling had to write an article going, 6 months ago, I wrote a satirical article about Ubisoft where I suggested they might release a driving game where they released cars driving up towers. And now they've actually done that. And now I don't know what to do anymore. But I've heard that The Crew 2 is dead good.
It looked fucking boss. Like, you can race with hovercrafts, speedboats, propeller planes, and racing cars. in one single
Sorry,
setting.
you can race with planes and boats.
Yes.
Okay, go on. Good.
So I'm not quite sure you can race them against each other, but they very definitely implied you could.
Okay.
Because they showed like an airplane going over a finish line in front of a car. This looked really fucking good, and I really hope this is as good as it seems to be. Yeah, I can't really say anything else about it. It's just, neat. I hope it's good. They show South Park next. And what's your opinion about the last South Park game?
Now, by the last South Park game, do you mean the South Park game that is yet to come out, which is the same one they were trying to promote at this event?
No, I'm trying to say the Stick of Truth.
I've not played the Stick of Truth. I've heard that the Stick of Truth does a really good job of sending up typical video game tropes.
Okay, so the Stick of Truth is basically more early South Park than it is later South Park. Do you know what I mean? It's more like one-shot jokes that...
To me, early South Park versus more contemporary South Park means solid jokes based on years old stereotypes versus satire.
Yeah. So it's basically weird jokes that might gross you out versus... Well, they don't really do satire. It's like weird stuff happens. People get, gang raped by aliens, that kind of joke. And that's the joke. It's like...
That's generally classic South Park, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like an elephant fucks a pig level of joke rather than Al Gore thinks of man, bear, pig in a cave joke. So, do you know at least the difference I'm trying to create here? Like, so, Stick of Truth, I liked it. It was funny, but it's a game you can play only once because after that, you know all the jokes.
So the in terms of gameplay, it purely relies on jokes.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, it's fun to play through once, but then it falls into the trap that you mentioned earlier. I never wanted to pay full price for it, so I think I at one point paid €10, but it came out at 30, I think. And it's only about 8 hours, if not less. So, Fractured Butthole seems like more of the same. And that's not bad, but I'm not going to buy it straight off the bat. I know that.
Well, see, the thing to me is that
all the stuff around its release has left a bad taste in the mouth, for me. It's left a real bad taste in the mouth. Second of all, its name is, I mean, even you just now had to apologise for the cringeworthy name. The Fractured Butthole. That wasn't me, by the way. That was, like, if you've got to apologise for the name of someone else's game, it doesn't speak loads for what's going to be in the actual game, does it?
No, like I said, it's going to be funny once, but then...
See, I worry that the Fractured Butthole is going to be a real albatross around both South Park and Ubi's neck. I think it will be a thing that people in a couple of years' time will talk about going, well, these are two companies that previously we trusted and yet we got our fingers burned. I think it's been too long in the development now. I think we'd have seen something by now. It's been in development for, how many years?
Yeah, well, 2, 3.
Exactly. We'd have seen something concrete by now. It's not as if South Park is the most intricately animated TV show alive. Like they animated and released a Tomb Raider game quicker than they released this.
True. So yeah, so I think I'll definitely wait for a sale. I'll try it out, but
Snip.
Then they showed this weird VR thing, which showed brains being downloaded and people's consciousness, and then all of a sudden we're sitting opposite Elijah Wood.
Sorry, people's consciousness?
Yeah, being downloaded into other things, but then they're being very vague about it, like distorting images. And then Elijah Wood is sitting opposite us, and he's saying like, we've managed to download.
But wait, so this is part of a game rather than part of a presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were saying like they came on and like they said, "Oh, link to this and this will happen." Like,
No.
okay, all right, sorry.
So let's start again. So they show this distorted reality. Like all of a sudden, Elijah Wood is sitting opposite us, and he's like, "We've managed to download the human mind into," and it starts, breaking up a little bit, and it's this weird virtual reality thing called transference, and it looks like a full motion video virtual reality game. And I don't know about you, but that tickles all my fancies. When I was a little bit younger, I used to love the full motion video games. They haven't aged well, but I love them to bits. But yes, it looked interesting at the very least. But they didn't show like any real gameplay, so I'm like a bit on the. I'm wary. I'm wary of what it might actually be. Then they showed a new IP called Skull and Bones. It just did another slow pop song, and I don't even remember which song it was. It's just that bad. It wasn't. Skull and Bones looks like they took Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Warship Simulator and they made a new game out of it. That's it. And it was very dull and boring. Which is sad.
Sorry, wait. Who took Black Flag and made a new game of it?
Ubisoft.
Ubi took Black Flag, made a new game.
Yeah, Black Flag, the bit where they shot...
No. We don't need to redo that. All we need to do is capture the bit where you go, Ubisoft made a new game, and I'll go, yep. Do we need to re-record that bit because we fucked it all up?
Alright, so Ubisoft made a new pirate game.
Wait. Ubi made a new pirate game.
Yes, they made a new pirate game.
Not the old pirate game, the new pirate game.
They made a new pirate game.
What's it called?
It's called Skull and Bones. And you never guess what it's based on.
Right, but is it actually a new game, or is it literally the old mechanics of the old game just rehashed in the new thing?
Oh, you fucking hit the hammer on the fucking nail there. It's basically just fucking Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag ship battles put into fucking pirate games.
That's all I was trying to say, you know what I mean?
They put a slow pop song to it, and I said before, slow pop songs are the fucking bane of this E3.
They put a slow pop song to it. Slave to love.
And then they just show very generic things, and it hurt me a little bit. But then they're like, oh yes, because this is going to be a multiplayer, and it's going to be fantastic, and we have one more thing to show you. And they show another cinematic, and it's the same game again, and then they show suddenly like a tentacle, and they stop. It's like, Sea of Monsters. I'm like, oh, fuck off. So you promised like all these weird sea creatures, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to call it Sea of Monsters, and then in the end, only release the Kraken. That's a joke.
But the thing with
Release the Kraken is a joke, goddammit.
But the thing with making Release the Kraken as a joke is that it seems like that would be the most obvious thing in the world, no? Releasing the Kraken. Yeah, that should be obvious. However, it feels a bit like, Release the Kraken could be the name of a DLC. Hence why I didn't react. When you said, Release the Kraken, I went, is that a pre-order?
I failed you. I'm terribly sorry.
Is that a pre-order? Release the Kraken pre-order, yeah? Release the Kraken DLC.
Anyway, they show off Just Dance next, and I have no interest in that at all.
But the Kraken is in Just Dance, yes?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely going to release with the Kraken. Then they show off South Park. And South Park says like, oh, now your mobile phone can do whatever it was ever intended to do. And it's a new game, except it's exactly the same as the last one, except it's not, because it's about cowboys and Indians and everything the last one had, except it's called Phone Destroyer. I'm kind of at this point, like, where I said, okay, I was on board with the fractured butthole, but right now I'm like, how far can we spread this South Park thing until it gets too thin and everybody loses interest? Because did we really need a South Park mobile game?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't, did we? They showed a new IP next called Starlink, which is about spaceships, except you have to buy model spaceships as well, and then the model bits represent the spaceship you have in-game. It sounds just as weird as it sounds.
Yeah, I'm furrowing my brow pretty hard right now. Wait, they do what?
So you have to buy the game, and then you have to buy a mobile spaceship, a model spaceship, and it's like amiibos, except you put the amiibos together like Legos.
Okay.
And that represents your ship in-game.
But I mean, presumably you've got to pay for each one of these amiibos.
Oh, fucking different.
Yeah, okay. Now an idea form.
So that doesn't work for me. It looks neat, but I have nowhere to leave these things.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not on board with that either. Then they showed Steep Road to Olympics, which is like Winter Olympics everything, like luge and skiing and snowboarding. And that looks decent if you like those kind of games. Well, then we go into political commentary. I was lost, but then I was found.
Keep going.
Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5?
Far Cry 5, and I must admit, I've played the last 3 ones, and I like them all, and I'm happy they're doing something else for a change.
I only played 3, and this one excites me in ways you couldn't imagine.
Haha, is it because we're killing religious zealots inside the United States of America?
Do you know what? I don't even think it is. I think it's just that, and this really is the hardcore leftist coming out of me. If anything is going to mark us out as the leftist hardcore podcast in video games, this will be it. I don't think it is. This is the one game that's going to make us shoot Trump supporters. I think it's just it's this. This is the first game in all of the games I've ever played where the bad guy isn't set in the southern hemisphere. The bad guy in Far Cry 5 apparently isn't going to be in South Africa or South America or Central America they're not going to be one of our Antipodean cousins. They're going to be potentially a white man from the Western world. And, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that if you look at the best and most successful action film of the past 30 years, Taken, starring Liam Neeson, and he was taken on white men in white Europe. And I think that people love that. People fucking love it. And I think that possibly Far Cry 5 could be our Taken. It could be our point where we just go, here's a white man taking on another white man, and you're going to fucking wreck him. It's going to be the fucking best. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if on the video game cover they do burn the white flag. Sorry, not the white flag, the American flag. Because, you know, who gives a shit about the American flag anymore anyway?
Who the fuck does? Rhetorical question, do go on.
No, I left it as a rhetorical question. I was hoping you would pick it up and go, well, actually, certain people do, but...
Anyway, I'm very happy with Far Cry 5 because aside from the first Far Cry, which is so long ago that barely anybody fucking even remembers it, every other Far Cry was set in a far distant land, or in Far Cry Primal's case, so fucking long ago, nobody gives a shit. Far Cry 5 gives us a new take in a new place that if it wasn't for fucking Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, we wouldn't even have it at this point. We're shooting up religious Christian zealots, and I fucking love the concept. It's all fictional, and that's why I love it. I love shooting up cults wherever the fuck they are, and being Christian just makes it closer to what my own personal upbringing is, so I get more, like, enjoyment out of it. So, I really love it to bits, and we mentioned before, like, this entire E3 presentation seems like to be geared against Gamergate. There's a black woman shooting people to death, and they named the fucking dog Boomer. I'm like, yeah, they named the fucking dog. I was very happy with the dog.
Yes, I was as well. This was one of my favourite. It was one of the things that I saw, obviously, pre. This was, I really, really enjoyed Far Cry 3. Didn't play 4, but 4 seemed like more of the same. But I loved 3, like themes regardless. I just liked it gameplay wise. This one seems really, really cool. So you know.
So 4 is good compared to 3, but I'll say 5 at least looks way different than 3 and 4.
That's what I want to say, because the worst fear is that they do 3 right, and then 3 wins all these plaudits, and then 4 comes along and just goes, well, we'll just do the same again then. Like what
that's
you want to
basically
hear
what 4 is. 4 is basically, oh fuck, we killed off the main bad guy in 3.
That's what you're worried about, is that you're worried that people will just see 3 and just go, that's what they want, we'll just keep doing that.
Definitely. Then they show off a close-off with a trailer, a cinematic for a new game, and it's got a monkey speaking, like, chavvy English, talking to a pig speaking like a Chinese accented English. And it's Beyond Good and Evil 2.
The little pig man that we've waited how many years to see?
15.
The little tiny pig man. And to be fair, when we saw him, we did not think we would see him registered in so many graphics, so many dimensions. We never thought we would see this little pig man in 3 dimensions.
I must admit, there were a lot more swears than I remember from Beyond Good and Evil 2. But, you know, the times, they are changing. So, yes, I was happy to see it, but we didn't see much of it, aside from, like, an opening cinematic, I suppose. I'm just very happy it's in development. So, Sony, are you good? Good. Sony starts off with this weird sitar waterfall thing, where the logos match the background, and I really didn't know what to think of this. I mean, EA did the entire marching band, but this was like, look at us being interesting. So yeah, they immediately ignore all of that and just go straight to Uncharted. Have you played any of the Uncharted games?
I've never played a single one of them.
Good.
But
I
I've heard that the 4th one was fucking amazing.
I heard they're all fucking fun, and this one is about his daughter, which is in the 4th one, and it looks okay, I suppose.
If you like that sort of thing.
Well, it seems like a very actiony, quick time event, movie experience kind of game, if you know what I mean.
I do. Alright, what else have you got?
The next one is Horizon Zero Dawn, and I really wish that one was out for the PC, because I really want to play that one.
Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
And it was already out, yes. But this is new DLC.
Yeah.
I really don't know what else to say about that, because it stops as abruptly as it implies to start.
Horizon Zero Dawn, to me, this year as it was last year, is the game / franchise / IP that suffers the most from generic naming syndrome. Like, Horizon Zero Dawn could literally be any game about anything. And I know it's meant to be good, but I just have no desire to play it because it's called Horizon Zero Dawn. That could be about World War II. Equally, it could be about the new frontier in space. I have got no way of knowing because its name is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Completely true.
And I just have such a hard time. Apparently, from what I can tell, it is set in space and it's really good.
It's set on Earth.
But in the near future, maybe?
It's set on Earth in a future where...
Oh, it is in the future, then, okay.
A virus has taken over machines and created a new life form in them.
But just the fact that it's called Horizon Zero Dawn, like...
It doesn't make any sense.
It does nothing to mark itself out as good. And the thing is, I remember being about 2 years ago and looking at like teaser trailers at that game and being like looking at my mate and going, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. This is going to change everything. And it just didn't.
Yeah, basically you're hunting machine animals. That's the idea. I could have... Okay, hang on. The Future's End. There we go. I've just made a new RB.
Future's End?
The Future's End.
Wait. So, we were heading to a future, but then...
It's the end!
Shit, man.
Motherfucker. I'm a game developer. The next title is Days Gone, and I wrote down, don't make any more notes, so it means that it's going to be that important. So that means that it's a title. It's definitely a title.
Oh.
Next up is Monster Hunter World, and it's alright. I never really got into...
Are you a Monster Hunter fan?
I never got into the Monster Hunter franchise.
No, me neither.
I see people having lots of fun with it, and I'm like, okay, you do you, but it doesn't seem like it works for me. Oh, that's cool. That's fantastic.
It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like I should get into it.
It seems too grindy for me. Like, you spend an hour on killing monster.
There's something about it that seems like kind of self-rewarding in that, you're spending 20 hours grinding that out. It's almost like you're a pure gamer, but at the same time, it's like, I
don't want to spend 45 minutes on killing some kind of a super rhinoceros. Then we get the Shadow of the Colossus remake. And I love Shadow of the Colossus.
Now this is something that's excited a lot of my friends.
That's good, because if they've never played Shadow of the Colossus before, it's great to play it, but it's already had a remake in HD. How much more HD and 1080p 40k can you get?
Well, see, my problem with it was that what I thought, when Shadow of the Colossus came out, remember that way back when Shadow of the Colossus came out?
When I was in college and you were 5.
Yes, indeed. Do you remember what was meant to be like inconceivable for video games at that point? That would be something akin to The Last Guardian, right?
Yeah.
We've had The Last Guardian since. And it was, a PS1 game linked to the modern era. Why would we try and adapt a game that was largely story driven from the PS1 to the modern era? Like, there is absolutely no reason why anybody would want to see the Shadow of the Colossus on a modern console. There's no reason.
Only reason I can think of is you've never played the game before.
But even then, if you had a PS4, right, and you had gone, oh well, I've heard of this, but I don't know what it is. I'll buy it off the PS Store, and then bought it. You would be furious, surely. Like, who is that marketed to other than morons who've already played it?
Our good friend Craig.
Craig?
Who's
Craig?
The Scottish bloke. Never mind.
Surely even he would not.
No, he's never played. He's never played Shadow of the Colossus before.
But there you go. Why him then? I think you should edit his name out. You've singled him out and you've made him look like a dick.
Well, he is a fucking idiot. But he knows that.
No, he is, yeah, but not for those reasons.
But okay, I don't know why this game exists. So, next up is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity, and it looks garbage.
Okay, alright, now we can do a discussion.
That's my professional opinion.
We can edit out all of the previous 20 minutes of bollocks. Now we can have a discussion. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looks like garbage. That is the title of the discussion you've given us. I'm your university class. Here I come to argue either for or against that. Does Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite look like garbage? Yes. Yes, it does, indeed. Because it was built on a game that was inferior to the game that was built on. And Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was probably the most fun game I've ever played with friends. And the current build is inferior to that. Because they've tried to maximise on Marvel licensed characters. One of whom is not Deadpool. And Deadpool was by far the most fun thing about the previous Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes.
Every single time I played Marvel vs. Capcom, this is the thing. The thing with Marvel vs. Capcom is you're more likely to play that with friends who are Lapse fans. At the very best. At the most, they're going to be people who've never had a Marvel comic in their entire life. And I played Marvel vs. Capcom with people who didn't have a fucking blues clue who Deadpool were. You know, they've seen the film since, but at the time, they didn't have a clue who he was. And yet they found him hilarious. So then when you fence that off and go, oh, well, no, Deadpool won't be in this game, they're going to go, well, we're not going to buy that game then. It don't matter.
It's like in Infinite they tried to go more serious, and it's a fucking shame because I like the concept of Ultron and Sigma becoming one fucking character, but then they go around and like, oh no, we have to go find Thanos so Thanos can help us find the Infinity Stones. And like, fuck off. And then I hate all the voices, and I hate all the character designs, and I hate nearly every fucking character that isn't already been in the fucking lineup before. And I just don't want this game.
So the thing is, I want the game, but I don't want the game to be in any way tied to the cinematic universe. I only want the game to be tied to the video game that was out about, 10 years ago? I don't want it to make any reference or hint to the current fucking universe. I just want the game to reference the game, and that's it. I mean, God. In fact, it wasn't even 10 years ago. It wasn't even 10 years ago. It was at best 9. Phoenix Wright was a fucking playable character. That's the universe. That's the universe that I want to live in. I don't care about money or video game franchises. I want the same universe that Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, is a
I want
character.
weird characters, not popular characters.
Yes, exactly. And you know, this is the terrible, awful thing as well. I remember when Rocket Raccoon was announced as a character for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and all my mates were infuriated, and I was like, no, Rocket Raccoon is real cool. And within 6 months, actually no, that's wrong, within 2 years, but there was a point where Rocket Raccoon was completely unknown, and then within 2 years, it was the biggest thing. Do you know what I mean? Like there was just this discrepancy that was unspoken.
It sounds really hipster, but it's exactly what it is. Anyway, let's just skip that then.
Yep, snip all that. That's not what we're here to talk about. Snip all that. Snip all that.
No, that's all going in.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Hey, guess who's editing this?
It's a fair point.
Then they show Call of Duty, because who hasn't played enough Call of Duty in their lives? World War II, because who hasn't played enough first-person shooters in World War II in their lives? Right, so then they show off PlayStation VR, and guess what game they show first?
Not Call of Duty.
Not Call of Duty. Holy shit! What is this? The same Elder Scrolls game! Skyrim.
But really? Really? Skyrim, really?
Really?
Okay.
So the first game they show off on PlayStation VR is Skyrim. The next game they show off in PlayStation VR is called Star Child, and it's about some weird third-person perspective, which makes me ask the question, why is this in VR? And it's about giant robots and little girls being protected by them. I'm like, this is really weird, but okay, it's original, but then they never explained why. Then they show something I thought was going to be Fallout 4, because it starts off with an old radio playing an old song from the 50s. But
do you mean Fallout 4?
It's not Fallout 4. It's...
Fallout 4 came out over a year ago.
I know, but it's VR, so it was new again. But it's not Fallout 4. It's something about a mental institute, and you're a patient. It's called the Inpatient. INPATINTNT. It looks cool, but I don't know what to think of it.
But it's Bethesda, is it?
I'm not sure if it is Bethesda. It feels like Bethesda.
I'd be waiting to see who it is before I get excited. This is the thing with, especially survival horror now. Like, I don't trust anybody to give me an organic experience anymore, especially with horror.
So the next thing is Final Fantasy 15 Fishing DLC VR. This sounds like such an overly narrow superlative. Like, how many adjectives can I put in front of a noun before somebody goes like, oh yeah, that's the thing I want? Like, who plays Final Fantasy 15? Who plays Final Fantasy 15 to play the fishing game? And who plays Final Fantasy 15 to play the fishing game hoping it would be in VR? Yeah. Next is a first-person shooter called Bravo Team, whatever the fuck. Then they show off a weird night game where you play a mouse. Have you ever read any of the Red Wall books?
Red Bull?
Red Wall.
No.
Okay, so it's about mice and rats and other vermin in medieval times. So this seems very much like that. You're a mouse and you have a knife and you fight monsters. Okay, it looks cool. It's VR, so I'm not quite sure if I'll ever actually get to play it. So then we get God of War, and it's not called God of War 4. It's just called God of War.
Now,
yes.
Let's speak of this. God of War. Is this full on a God of War game?
It is full on a God of War game.
Full on hack and slash, like full release. It's going to cost what, 40, 50, 60 quid?
60 quid.
60 quid? 60 quid? Jesus. So it's going to be exclusively on the Xbone and PS, you would imagine.
Sony.
Purely Sony, no Xbone.
Guessing Sony. Probably
Jesus.
maybe one day.
Jesus, really? Just on Sony?
Okay, so I'm not a big fan of all the button mash games, but the God of War at least have been very stylistic in the way they've done their games. So I liked 1 to 3, especially 3, because all the bosses you kill are the Greek gods, basically.
This is one of the reasons what pushed me away from the franchise, but okay.
Oh, okay, so it's just me then.
Admittedly, I am in the minority in that. The thing that really, really pushed me away from the God of War thing was that it was a male power fantasy beyond parody. Like, it was like, I am literally going to kill all the gods. I was like, I have no reason to look at this from a story standpoint. And then you look at it from like a gameplay standpoint, it's like, well, hack and slash.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. And I think a lot of people who don't have the outside take that I do probably just really like it for the stupid power fantasy, but, you know.
Oh no, like from what I can tell, I'm the minority. Everyone just fucking loves the power fantasy, like.
But at least I get it's supposed to be a bad take on the power fantasy because you're not saving the world in the end. In the end of the part 3, you're condemning the world. It's another tale for another day, I suppose. God of War 4 looked interesting because you now have somebody to care for, I suppose. Plus, they're trying to create moral ambiguity by having the son say, like, sometimes creatures try to help us, and then you see the world serpent, and he quite literally says, I want to help you. Yeah.
Also the world serpent, really.
The world serpent, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
You know, the Norse and like the mix and all that shit.
This is exactly what they are. Then they show Detroit, and I lost the subtitle. Is it Becoming Human?
Yes.
Detroit is done by the same people that did Heavy Rain, and it looked really cool on the initial teaser with the interrogator.
Oh my god, yes. No, I know what you're talking about. Oh my god. It looks so good.
Yeah, it did, but now it's like more generic, where it's like an uprising for androids. I'm not feeling the same thing that I felt the first teaser. You know what I mean?
What's happened since, like?
Well, the first teaser is like you're an interrogator for what seems to be a kidnapper who's also an android on a rooftop. So it's like a police detective kind of story. And this time around, they show like a slave allegory for like they even start off with a black person singing. So it's like I get what you're going for, but it's not what the first trailer made me think of. So I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but it just feels different.
I don't understand.
It's just then they showed off Destiny 2, and neither of us have played Destiny.
No.
That's the second to last showing. You know, the last one that went before they go like, before we go, we have one more thing to show you.
The Destiny, Destiny Season 2. Destiny Season 2, oh my god.
So, I don't know anything about Destiny. So, before they go, they have one more game to show us, and it's...
Spin the wheel.
Spider-Man.
Hello.
And I like Spider-Man, but we saw this last year, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No, we did not. Because, did you not notice this year's Spider-Man actually looked kind of good? Because, my friend, I am here to argue with you two things. I am here to argue with you. Point the one, Spider-Man this year, video game, actually looked sort of good. And my second point is, do you know what? Maybe the Spider-Man video game didn't actually look that good.
I don't think it actually looked that good.
I'm agreed.
I don't think it looked bad, but I don't think it looked like, oh shit, I have to go get this. Alright, yeah.
I am absolutely 100% in your camp, my friend.
Very good. Because it felt to me like if I would buy it at, like, it's on sale at half price, I would enjoy it.
I don't even think it would be that way. For the way that it looked just like every other Marvel that there was in the last 10 years. It just looked like the kind of thing you could just dismiss.
Yeah, nothing about it screams to me like you have to get this now.
Mm-hmm.
They said like, oh, it has like Batman Arkham Asylum style fighting mechanics. Like, well, a little bit less than that, but you know, except it's Spider-Man.
Yep. Thing is, right, I saw the Spider-Man / Arkham Asylum mechanics, and that was all fine with them, but it did look to me a little bit like when Spider-Man was completing his missions across the city. He was doing so by quick time events. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that Spider-Man, to me, it looked like did quick time events.
I hope it's better than I think it looks. Because it does seem like it has the right idea of Spider-Man to me.
Do you know what, Dutch?
Oh.
Did you get the game in the? It must have been late 90s, early 2000s. It was out on the PS1. We had a game. It was just called Spider-Man.
It was just called Spider-Man. It was on the PC as well.
It was on the PC, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the game I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
I feel like the villain was Carnage, I think.
In the end, it's Dr. Octopus being possessed by Carnage. Yeah.
Yeah. It was literally just called Spider-Man, right? Do you not think that they should just release that as a film? Spider-Man being pursued by all his enemies, and then Carnage takes over his worst enemy. It's quality, isn't it? Like, you couldn't write that, but like, how did they fuck that up?
Yeah, it could be.
And even then, like, fucking hell, they could have released, even if you couldn't release it as a film, you could still fucking release it as a game. Just re-release the same game again. How the fuck did they fuck that up? I don't know. But as long as you are aware of the same game that I always had when I was about 5 years old. Do you remember putting in the cheat codes and playing as Peter Parker with a fucking paper bag on his head?
Yes. Amazing bag, man.
Yes.
But at the very least,
That's
the upcoming Spider-Man game is not the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game.
At least
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 game?
Yes.
Fuck that.
It's absolutely horrid trash. Never touch it. Let's go to Nintendo, and it's only half a page.
Nintendo is half a page.
Nintendo is half a page compared to the fucking Reds.
Nintendo is the fucking best. Let's go.
So now we're at Nintendo, because apparently we've just been talking about shit for the last fucking 30 minutes.
Sorry.
Entirely my fault, of course.
Sorry.
So they show off this sizzle reel, and it shows everything: ARMS, Rocket League, Pokken, FIFA, Splatoon, and then it started off with like this JRPG, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Have you played the first one?
No, I've not played Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The first one, no.
No,
I played Rocket League.
Xenoblade apparently has a big fan base. I'm happy it's got a sequel on a console that I like, but I don't have anything else with it. It's like very generic JRPG in my opinion. The next thing they show is Kirby! And guess what the game is called?
It's called Kirby in Kirby Land.
It's just called Kirby.
Obviously.
And I am a sucker for Kirby. I love Kirby.
Kirby is the most underrated of all Nintendo intellectual properties, I would say.
I'm very happy that you agree with me on that, because
I think Kirby gets overlooked massively. So
I don't think I've ever played a Kirby game I didn't like, and I have strong opinions on the Amazing Mirror for the GBA and Dreamland 2 on the Game Boy. And the rest are all just fucking fantastic. So it's a new Kirby game, and you can play with 4 people, and you can turn enemies into your co-op players, and that's fantastic. So the next thing they show is Pokken Deluxe, except by showing the more like emphasizing the point that there's many Wii U remakes for the Switch. And I don't mind personally myself, because I feel like the Wii U has been, well, it didn't sell as much as the Switch has already. So I think like all the good titles that get remakes are not bad per se. You agree?
I actually do agree, yes.
Very good. Because I thought I was alone in this, because I see a lot of people like, oh, these are all Wii U remakes. But I'm like, well, they barely sold any Wii U's. So
I would rather someone pick up the Switch, having not played the Wii U. I imagine the people like me, like, I had no intention of playing the Wii U ever, but I actually intend to buy a Switch. You know, people like that.
I'm happy I'm really happy that that people are getting a chance to play the same games I did on the Wii U on the Switch when the Switch is more readily available to people to play with. And Pokken looks fun, but I never actually bought it on the Wii U.
Oh, Pokken.
So I might just actually get it on the Switch. And to point out how quickly we're going through the page, I have 6 notes left compared to the other pages. That's everything. Then they show Metroid Prime 4. Have you played any of the Metroid Primes?
I have never played a Metroid in my life, believe it or not.
Okay, so Metroid Prime is a trilogy, and it's so critically acclaimed, and it's been about 10 years, and now there's a part 4. I don't really like Metroid Prime, and...
Whoa.
This is blasphemy.
Whoa.
No.
Well, so there's 2 things that work here. First of all, I've only got a passing interest in the Metroid folklore, and even I know that this announcement is big, and yet you like it has piqued my interest, but yet you don't care that much.
This is the biggest issue. I kind of like the Metroid series, but I've never been a huge fan. I liked Metroid Fusion. I liked Super Metroid. But I think the transition into 3D didn't work for me. I was like, I never really got the same Metroid feel. Like, it's got the same name, but it's not the same kind of game. So, people that really love Metroid Prime, I love you to bits, and I hope this game is as good as you want it to be. But to me personally, no, it doesn't do a thing for me. I actually was more hyped for Other M than I was for any of the Metroid Prime sequels, and everybody else hates Other M. So, Metroid Prime 4, I'm happy for the people, but not for me. So, the next game is Yoshi, which is called Yoshi, which is basically Yoshi in a cardboard world. It's weird. I liked Yoshi's Woolly World, but this just seems more weird.
I actually feel more comfortable with this than I did with Yoshi's Woolly World.
Right.
Because Yoshi's Woolly World was, I don't know, it seemed somehow more intrinsically linked with Yoshi. Whereas this just seems like I could try and ignore him. I can tell from the silence that that's not an option.
I'm quite hung up on the fact that both Kirby and Yoshi are just called Kirby and Yoshi.
Well, you know, the problem is that you've got to imagine what would happen if Mario could just control them with his thoughts and he was just trying to throw hats on them.
That's just for a little bit later, I suppose. Fire Emblem Warriors, and I really liked Hyrule Warriors, but I'm not a huge mark on the Fire Emblem series. But I might just have a look at it, because the Dynasty Warriors series, at least, is very fucking good and very fucking fun. And I feel like I know enough about the series for Fire Emblem Warriors to entertain me at the very least. Do you know the Warriors series at all?
No, I'm not. I mean, I've heard reviews.
Right, so they're very like hack and slashy against armies, but they're very fun and they make you feel very powerful. So it's good fun. That's it. But you know, I can understand if people don't like them. And then Nintendo starts going on about esports and people playing ARMS and people playing Rocket League. Oh, by the way, Rocket League on the Switch.
Well, until you join me out,
I think Rocket League on the Switch is one of the best decisions that both Rocket League and Switch could have made.
Yeah, agreed, but because from a personal standpoint, unless you're going to join me, I don't care how much.
So you're trying to imply I have to play you Rocket League on the Switch?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, for it to make a difference for me and you personally, we should at least be able to play together.
We should play a game together one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't care about what happens on the Switch or what happens cross-platform. All I care about is me and my mate playing together. That's all I care about.
It's a good combination, though, because despite people being cynical about people taking the Switch everywhere, I've heard like actual real life experiences about people taking the Nintendo Switch on trains, on towards pub crawls, and playing the fucking video games, which is weird. But, I'm happy because it means the thing they intended is actually working. And Rocket League seems like the perfect fit for a game console like the Switch. Then they show off rabbits again. Fucking rabbits. Do you want to talk about rabbits again?
Again?
No.
Okay.
So, the last game in this presentation, which was only 25 minutes long, is Super Mario Odyssey.
And here we go.
Let's go! I fucking want this game now.
So, I previously viewed the Nintendo Switch as a weird, overpriced family console. I didn't realise they were about to deliver the most insane socio-political commentary on big business. Socio-political commentary. Big business controlling the average working man. I mean, imagine that. Imagine a big corporation controlling forcibly for many years through brand identity. Imagine those guys controlling a simple plumber. Who all he wanted to do was either A, get married to his betrothed, or B, go about his job in the best way possible. And yet, they wouldn't let him, would they? They wouldn't bloody let him.
So we have a blue-collar worker being able to possess a white-collar businessman on the middle of the street. Like, I'm terribly sorry, honey, tonight I'm not going to be able to come home for dinner because I have a business meeting. And so it's like, hoo-ha! Let's go! I'm very happy with the new gameplay developments we've been shown because it seemed like a very fun 3D platformer to begin with, but the fact that they've created an enemy or any other character you could think of possessing mechanic is fucking brilliant. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's like, I want this game now. Now. I'm terribly sorry. I had gas. Anyway, this was the end of the Nintendo presentation, which I am very cross about, because you know what happened the hour after their fucking presentation? Yes, you do, because we spoke about this. They announced Metroid The Return of Samus for the 3DS.
Yes.
And I am very cross with that because I was going to be so ecstatic if they showed that in the presentation because I only found out about this after I already left the fucking E3 thing and I was doing other things in my house and suddenly somebody's like, oh, hey, there's a new Metroid game. I'm like, yeah, it's Metroid 4. No, it's Metroid 2. I'm like, what? I hate that. And Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga remake. And that's fantastic because Superstar Saga, to me, is still the best out of the Mario and Luigi series.
I agree.
It's an empirical fact, and I won't be argued. But why wait until an hour after you've done your worldwide presentation, of which you know that so many more people are watching, rather than just on the floor be like, oh yeah, we're releasing a new Mario and Luigi game. By the way, it's a remake of the first one. It doesn't make sense to me. It feels like Nintendo is intensely trying to dismantle, like, oh, we have to release all our big news during the big presentation, so we don't have to have big presentations anymore. It just bothers me so much. It's like, why would you even have a 30-minute Nintendo Direct in E3 if you're going to talk about FIFA and Splatoon 2 and arms and things people already knew
Exactly.
were coming. I still like the Direct. I just don't think it was as good as it could have been. Right, so that is the absolute last of all the fucking paperwork I have. We've spoken for over 4 hours.
Goddamn right we have.
So, your ideas. My ideas is that I think I went away from the Ubisoft presentation the best. I thought that despite the fact that I don't play all of their games, they had the best presentation. But you didn't watch any of the presentations. E3 this year, I think, on the whole, was better than last year. I think Ubisoft won a lot.
Disagreed. Devolver won the lot, but alright.
I'm terribly sorry. Devolver won a lot. Everything that wasn't Devolver was won by Ubisoft. And I just really wish Nintendo did more. Otherwise, it was Xbox 2, Nintendo 3. So, Stuart, thank you very much.
Floris, you've got absolutely no idea how much fun this was. You've got absolutely no idea.
We spoke for 4 hours. I don't know how much fun this was. Because wrapping this up feels like a Herculean task to me.
That's what I'm talking about. You've got no idea. I really enjoyed it. You've got no idea.
That's good. That's good. That's very good. And I hope that somebody out there might just listen to this in the hole. I'll speak to you soon. And I do mean this. I'll speak to you soon.
Hope so.
And we'll TLDR another day.
We will TLDR another day.
Hi, so me and Stuart actually have more things planned in the near future. So, if you like us talking about E3, which is like a very niche subject, I suppose, because who watches E3 and then listens to two people talking about E3, especially seeing as the fact as neither of us, all 15 of us in the TLDR podcast thing, have any really clout in video gaming. So, please, if you'd like to hear more of us talk about random subjects, give us a like, give us an insult, or just, give us a kiss. Give us a kiss.